On this night and in this hour, I call upon a sacred power. Bring life to everything in this space. It shall walk, it shall talk.
You going anywhere for the Christmas break?
Me and my friends are going to my dad's cabin.
Let's get high as a gate.
I need to be really honest with you guys. When I was 7, right in this cabin, my puppet killed my stepmom.
Well, that totally never happened.
Right?
Is this him? This is the killer puppet.
Everybody, I would like you to meet Jamie's little buddy.
Wait.
Pretty cute, but pretty ugly too.
Okay, you guys just leave Simon alone.
You have given this puppet way too much power.
The puppet's alive, man. What if it looked at me?
I've had enough of this puppet.
You're going to the fire. Simon's gone.
We just torched him.
Hi, Jamie.
He's back.
Man, that's what they do. They always come back.
Fire with me.
He's alive. And he can walk. He can talk. And he's pretty friggin' strong.
Here's Johnny.
Joining me is Canadian award-winning actor Richard Harmon, and he's here today to talk about his role in Puppet Killer and what's next for him and how he stays fit. Welcome, Richard.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yes, and you play the character Rick in the film Puppet Killer. What attracted you to the role?
I can tell you exactly what it was. So one of my best friends, Lee Majdoub, was playing, God, what was his name in the movie? Because there was already a Lee in the movie. I'm sorry, we shot this movie about 6 years ago, truthfully. So like, it's kind of remembering everything is so wild to me now. He played the older brother of my character in the movie, and he reached out to me and said, "Would you be interested in playing my little brother?" And I went, "You're aware that we look nothing alike, aren't you?" And he went, "Yes, I'm well aware of that. I look in the mirror every day. However, they don't care because that's kind of the joke, is that we don't look like we ever could be brothers. And also, you're supposed to be 13. I went, "I'll take it. I'll do it. I'll be 13 years old for the last time when I was 24 or something. 24 when we shot this movie."
Yeah, no, you carried it well, and so did everyone.
Thank you. I mean, that's the whole thing, is that most of the logic in the movie doesn't make any sense, but that's kind of the fun part of doing this kind of horror send-up, similar to those in the 80s. That's just none of the actors are in high school. Aleks is playing a 17-year-old, and he's 40 and 6'5". So that was kind of the fun for us, is just to make a complete send-up of these movies that we all love. Like, I'm a huge horror movie fan.
Yes, and it's a comedy horror film. And yeah, so how much fun did you have working as a team?
So much fun. And I think one of the great things is so many of these, it's all Vancouver actors. We all knew each other, if not very well, we all knew each other, at least in some capacity at that point in our careers. So we either were already very close friends, and if we weren't close friends, we got to be close friends very quickly. So we had a great time shooting it. And, it's just, essentially it was what it was. It was a bunch of friends in a cabin in the woods covered in blood. That was what it was.
Yes, and your eye gets,
Yes.
knocked.
If we're allowed to give away spoilers, I get an arrow right through the eye.
No, and I mean, it's actually won so many awards.
Yes. Yeah.
And congratulations. I understand Ensemble cast in 2019, a winner.
Something like that. Yeah, that's the thing. And even that was like, 4 years after we shot it, and then we started doing the festival circuit. So it's all been such a trip to kind of have this movie last. Like, the road that we've been traveling with it has been so long, but I'm so grateful that we finally kind of get to start actually giving it to the people now. that
Yeah.
makes me very happy.
Yes. And, Richard, how did you prepare for the role?
Oh God. Well, I mean, that's the thing. I don't think this role or this movie ever asks us to kind of go method or anything like that, or go, which I normally don't do anyway, but to go to the deepest, darkest parts of your soul and how could you handle it. This movie asked us to have fun, and that's exactly what we did. So I don't think I spent too much time prepping for it. I just went in there and had as much fun with my friends as I could. And I think that was the best prep that I could have had.
Yes. And the puppet is, I mean, was there a favorite scene?
Oh, in the movie?
Yes.
Oh, there's the scene, I think, with all of us just hanging around smoking weed. And it was just to riff, and we all got to ad lib and have fun with each other. And for all that, just sitting around with cool people and good performers and being able to just joke around with them while it is recorded. And nothing's off the table, nothing is too far. That was the fun for me. So I think it's a scene with all of us sitting around on the couches smoking weed, and I smoke a little too much weed, and I look at the puppet and he turns his head towards me. So I just think I've smoked too much, not realizing, of course, that the puppet would be my ultimate demise.
Yes. And how much involvement did you have in the film? Were you involved in the script, producing?
I was not. I mean, I know Aleks helped produce it, and Lee was around for quite some time before it got made, and talking to Lisa about stuff. So no, I was literally just 2 weeks before they went, do you want to give up your Christmas break to shoot this movie with us? And I was like, I'm crazy enough that I'll just go ahead and do that. And we had some fun.
That's wonderful,
Yeah.
and congratulations. And so tell us, can you share any projects that you're working on right now?
I just finished one about a month ago with some just wonderful people. It's a horror film called Margot, and that's for Paramount, actually. And it is so much fun. It's a horror movie that sort of is I describe it as Evil Dead meets a modern twist on Evil Dead, with essentially these teenagers. Remind me if you've heard this before. It's actually somewhat similar to Puppet Killer. A bunch of young adults go to a cabin in the woods and things go wrong. Except in Margot, we are going to a very bougie, expensive Airbnb, and it's a smart home, and the home is run by this AI that takes over and makes everything for us, and just sort of we don't have to do anything. The AI just takes care of everything, which sounds like a dream, but then obviously I think I'm not giving anything away by telling you it ain't no dream.
Yes. And you're involved in so many projects, and I mean, what drives you? What keeps you?
Love of the game. Just pure love of the game. There's nothing in the world I would rather be doing than my job. And I know how many people want to do my job. So it's not hard to stay driven when there's so much competition, and understanding that people would do anything to have the kind of career I've had. And I'm not saying I've had the biggest career, or I'm something to be, so proud of, but that I've even worked, to me, is a miracle. So I'll always be driven, because I know how many people who are talented don't even get the chance to work. So for me, I don't think drive will ever be an issue. I'm very happy and very excited anytime I get to do my job.
Yes. And
Privilege more than anything.
yes. And Richard, you've been in a Pearl in the Mist.
Mm-hmm.
That was filmed during COVID?
That was my first movie I did during COVID, which was this will always have a very special place in my heart of trying to get used to how COVID works. And that was so lovely. And that whole group brought me in. They'd been working together for so long, and I kind of just popped in for 2 to 3 days, which was crazy, because that character, I'm not a larger character, but again, we shot that character out in 2 days, 3 days for me. I just came over to the island, did it, and went back home, which was awesome.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
wonderful.
I mean, I wish I could have been there for longer because the people were amazing, but it's pretty humorous to shoot an entire movie's worth of things in 3 days and shooting like 8 to 10 pages of dialogue a day.
yes, I
It
mean,
was
and
fun.
what helps you to memorize your script and your lines? Does golfing or anything?
I have learned stuff on the golf course before, because sometimes I'll want to golf and realize that I actually have an addition to learn, and I'm like, well, I want to do both. I'm like, well, you can't. It's just golf alone, and I do that a lot. Golfing is one of my favorite things in the world. If I'm not working, I'm golfing, even in the winter.
Wow.
I think for memorization is people try to think of all these tricks and stuff like that, and sure, those might help. There's nothing to do with memorizing your lines other than just memorizing your lines. You just have to do it. People try to find shortcuts, just learn them. It sucks, learn them, and you get better at it that way. It's a muscle like anything else. The more you memorize things, the more you memorize lines, the better and the easier you're going to get at it. So yeah, there's no hiding from that part of the job. That's just part of the job. So learn your lines.
Yes.
And I know people who don't, you know who you are.
Yes.
No one on this movie.
Well, Richard, so you golf, are you, weekend warrior or how?
I try to go like 2 to 3 times a week.
Wow, that's great.
And what isn't great is my golf game, though. I'm not great at golf. I just love doing it.
So where can people watch you? You're in Darkness Falls, I understand, 100, like you're in several.
I've been lucky, like I said, I've been lucky enough to have some things in my career. The Return is another one if you like horror, and I assume you do if you're watching this. But The Return is another one that just came out, and you can rent it and buy it on iTunes and Amazon and all the different Google Play, wherever you can get movies, you can pretty much get it. And I recommend that highly. That's sort of like a haunted house, sort of a film with a twist. So if you like that, you should check it out.
The Return.
The Return. It's about my character returns to his childhood home, being the last one left of his family after his father suddenly passes away. So I go home to deal with like the will and testimony and everything, and see what has to be done with the house. And I'm only 21 years old, going from university to there. So he's got a lot on his plate, and then he starts to remember certain memories that he has repressed about his home and what might have caused his own father's demise. Did I sell that to you?
Yes.
Good.
And Halloween is just around the corner.
Oh yeah, my favorite time of the year. Favorite time of the year, bar none.
Yes. And I understand you like cooking?
Love it. I just went to the grocery store and I got all the stuff set out, ready to make a pasta tonight.
Great.
Yeah.
So Richard, is there anything else you'd like to add?
Oh, be safe out there, everyone. Be safe, be happy, I guess. I'm going to add something that's typical, and maybe that is typical, but I don't know. I think I just see a lot of doom and gloom these days, and I really wish people would be a little happier. I know that's hard, and if you can't be, you can't be, but if you have any room to be happy, I'd recommend taking that room and getting happy real quick.
Yes, and what you're doing, you're playing golf and you're cooking.
Trying my best to just be happy.
Yes.
Yeah. I know there's a lot of problems with the world, but sometimes you just have to remind yourself that you are allowed to be happy sometimes. You don't have to be miserable all the time just because.
No.
Not to say ignore what's happening in the world, because there's a lot.
Yes, it is. And, and you're doing, do you have a favorite dish?
Because I didn't start cooking really. I mean, I'm such a food freak. I just love food. But I didn't start cooking until the beginning of the pandemic, when I sort of had to. And I've learned that it's my favorite thing to do at home. It's therapy to me. It's very therapeutic. So I'm still at the point where I don't really repeat dishes yet, because I'm still so in love with it that I'm every single dish I make, it has to be a new one, because there's so much stuff I have to catch up on making that I haven't made in my life. But yeah, and then I know people who have cooked solo. Like my dad is an unbelievable cook, and one of my best friends, Liam and Adil, they're incredible cooks. And they sometimes will get fixated on a dish and then make it like 10 times in a month. And that's where they are because they've made so many things. So then when they make something, they just want to spend the month making it over and over and over again to become the best version of it that they can make. I'm not there yet. I'm just making something new every time.
That's great. Yeah, Richard, I really enjoyed speaking with you.
I enjoyed speaking with you.
You know, I'd love to have you come back.
Sure.
You know, and the red carpet, it'll come back. Well, so
you know what? We hope. I mean, they're doing it. A lot of people are out there doing it,
yes.
kind of bringing it back. So that's good. But I'm not too concerned about it. I'm not too concerned. We'll figure it out.
Oh, it was so much fun talking to you, and
You
wishing
too.
you all the best. Congratulations on everything. Your golf game.
Golf game.
Yeah.
No way. I'm about to start work up again in about 2 weeks. So my golf game's gonna have to take a back seat there for a while. Yeah.
Well, thank you. If people want more information, they can follow you on social media. Like you're all.
If you want to know what movies I watch, I'm on Letterboxd now. Like that's become my favorite social media thing. I'm not so big into Instagram and Twitter. I mean, I understand it as a necessity in my job currently and in the generation that we're in. Because you should be able to publicize yourself, and I love that, and I do love that for social media. My favorite social media right now, though, is Letterboxd because it just says what movies I watched.
Oh,
you can follow what movies I watch, and you can follow what movies you watch, and you can mark them down. And if you want to find me, my username is Dickie Spooks, which is my my October nickname for Halloween. And you can follow me there, and you can see all the movies that I watch. Some good, some bad, it's everything in between.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, we'll talk again soon.
Yes, we will.
Okay. Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.